Stadium in Hampton, WHCS Channel 29 presents Group AAA High School Football. The Hampton Crabbers versus the Kecoughtan Warriors. Good evening, everybody. I'm Tim Cole along with Bob Hintz. Welcome to Darling Stadium for tonight's game between the Warriors of Kecoughtan, the homestanding Warriors, and the visiting Hampton Crabbers. Bob, on paper, this looks like a real good game tonight. How do you look at what you see?
Well, I've got the chance to talk with both coaching staffs, Tim, and it seems like the Hampton Crabbers are a little more relaxed than the Kecoughtan Warriors. Warriors came in last year and knocked off Hampton. You know, Hampton lost 2 games. They had won 6 straight and then lost 2 games to Lafayette and the Kecoughtan. So Hampton is really up for this game, but it seems that the coaching staff is pretty relaxed. I noticed the Kecoughtan Warriors are uptight. They're very anxious for this game to get started. Means a lot to Kecoughtan. If they win this is a chance for them to go to the playoffs. And you know, it's going to be a good game. It's a nice night. The temperature is in the 50s. We have a gusting wind blowing from left to right, so it looks like it's going to be a good matchup, Tim.
Okay, and before we have the teams meeting at the center of the field, we've got a little time here. Let's run down, if we may, the starting lineups, both offense and defense, for both teams for this evening.
For the Hampton Crabbers, we have at center tonight is Williams. At the guard position, Jones and Mabry. Tackles, Mason and Riddick. The left end is Cofield. The right end is Wilson. Quarterbacking, junior Eric Hunter. Murphy is the fullback. Stefanko's the tailback, is the leading rusher in the district this year. And Hyman is the flanker.
All right, on defense, the Crabber defense, which has allowed but 2.3 points per ball game. At the guards will be Williams and Lawrence. The tackles are Mason and Wilson. The ends are Davis and Owens. The linebackers are Jones and Carlos. Billups is listed on our screen here as a linebacker, but in fact he is a cornerback, as is Hyman. And the safety is McLean. Mike Husted will be doing the punting and the kicking. Husted has had 4 field goals so far this season, and he shows up in the statistics as being the, well, let's see, in scoring, Husted is 6th in the district on the strength of 4 field goals and 12 extra point tries.
Well, he's a big weapon offensively for the Hampton Crabbers.
And before we continue on to the Kecoughtan lineup, let me mention this, if I may, the coaching staff for the Hampton Crabbers. Of course, they're coached by head coach Mike Smith. He is assisted by Danny Mitchell, Alvis Mann, Walter Brower, and Steve Washington. The principal of Hampton High School, R.O. Lowell Thomas, and that's, well, the managers. Let's not forget those managers. These guys do a great job. Charles McAdams, Eric Miller, Stacy Singleton, and Roscoe Simpson.
Now we get a chance now, we'll throw up the Kecoughtan offense and defense for you and give you a chance to look at that. At Kecoughtan on the offense, we have number 40 tonight, Williams. Eric Williams is quarterback, and he usually is number 10. Reed is the halfback. Johnson is the halfback. Allen is a flanker. At split end is Milan Brown. At tight end is Ray Alves. Center is Tolley. The guards are Jones and Heath, and the tackles are Vermeil and Mitchell.
There you see the Kecoughtan Warrior cheerleaders waiting for the team to come on the field, and here come the Kecoughtan Warriors.
We'll get the Kecoughtan defense up here so we can go over that.
All right, we'll run down the Kecoughtan defense for you. Here we go. The nose guard is Banks. The tackles are Jones and Mewborn. The ends are Watson and Irwin. The cornerbacks are Fluellen and West. He's again listed as a linebacker, but he is in fact a cornerback. The strong safety is Starcher, and the linebackers are Wilson and Alvis.
Barry Allen is a free safety who you slipped over there. It was easy to miss.
Don't want to slight anybody.
No, sir. And when we got a chance, I'm going to go over the coaches for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Head coach is Kirk Newsom, and this is his first year at Kecoughtan. Is doing a fine job. He's assisted by Mike Horton, Revis Conrad, Tyrus Woodard, and Al Morrow.
The Hampton Crabbers, of course, the defending state champions. They are 7-0 on the season. They have had victories over Petersburg, Phoebus, GW of Danville, Denby, Ferguson, Menchville, and last week, a game we had the pleasure of bringing you, a 24-0 whitewashing of the Lafayette Rams of Williamsburg. The Kecoughtan Warriors come in the game 4-2. They started off with a tough 7-0 loss at the hands of the Phoebus Phantoms. They came back and won 3 in a row. They defeated Denby, Ferguson, and Menchville before losing to Bethel 24-20 2 weeks ago. And last week they were 34-23 victors over the Warwick Raiders.
Tim, while we got a chance here before the action gets started and the co-captains go in the center of the field, I want to tell you what the people on the other side of the river think about us in the Beach area and the Norfolk area. There was an article in the Virginian Pilot. We have 2 different divisions in high school for AAA. We have Division 6 and Division 5. As we get a chance, so let me go over the officials while they're out there in the center. Kenny Self is the referee. Don Hurst is the umpire. Barry Lippincott is the linesman. Richard Rawls is the line judge, and Bernie Reesbeck is the back judge. Anyway, to get to that article, it said a petition is being circulated in the Virginia Beach to have the Hampton Crabbers move to a higher league.
Well, what league is that, Bob?
The ACC. So they know that the Hampton Crabbers are a really tough team.
All right, we've got the co-captains meeting at the center of the field for the Kecoughtan Warriors. They are represented by number 44, Sean Starcher, and number 40, Eric Williams. Again, Williams normally wears, and a lot of you Kecoughtan fans will be used to seeing him wearing number 10. But in fact, this evening he will be wearing number 40. For the Crabbers, they are represented by number 60, Weymouth Williams, along with number 70, Sherwood Jones of the Kecoughtan. Well, check that, Stefanko is
Stefanko, yes.
Mike Stefanko, number 44, is out on the field for the toss of the coin. The officials are about to tell us who, in fact, will receive, and it appears that the Crabbers have won the toss and will receive. They'll be going from our right to our left. They'll be in the white uniforms with the red helmets. The Kecoughtan Warriors in the green and white, of course.
Tim, this is a real exciting game tonight because of the Peninsula District is coming close to the end of the season, and everybody seems to still have a chance to make the playoffs. So this is very important for both teams tonight. We got to see an excellent game last night between the Bethel Bruins and the Phoebus Phantoms, and Phoebus scored many more points than they have in a long time. In fact, a school record of 42 points against the Bruins last night.
You know, in retrospect, we have a chance, of course, to give accolades to the people who should receive them for last night's game. Kent Johnson for Bethel had minus 13 yards passing in the first half, ended up with 197 yards in the air for the evening. So, needless to say, he did that in the second half. And David Brown, of course, had a phenomenal evening for the Phoebus Phantoms.
Yes, he did.
Picked up yardage on almost every time he touched the football. So our accolades go out to those fine athletes of both those high schools. And we should have a real good game tonight. Kecoughtan and Hampton, always a barn burner. Kecoughtan last year surprised the Crabbers. The last time the Crabbers lost was 16-5 at the hands of these same Kecoughtan Warriors. So a taste of revenge on hand tonight for the Crabbers. We're just about set to go. We've got the ball teed up, and high school football is underway. This is going to be fielded at the 14. It's bobbled momentarily, but picked up, and Summers returns the ball. Todd Summers sets the Crabbers up at the 24-yard line. You can tell the Kecoughtan Warriors are fired up for this ballgame.
They are really fired up. That special teams group got down there real fast, because even though the Hampton Crabber fumbled it, the ball bounced right back up in his hands, and he didn't lose but a second or two, but they were right on top of him. But it was a very high kick, which gives your coverage team a chance to get down there under the ball.
The Crabbers will be going into the wind to start the first half. Eric Hunter is the quarterback. Hands off to the first man through. That's Summers. Stefanko in the backfield. Stefanko is the leading rusher in the district, averaging 120-plus yards per ball game. And along with that, he is tied for the district scoring lead. David Brown had 3 touchdowns for Phoebus Friday night, and he is now tied as of this moment with Stefanko for that particular lead in the district.
Well, I tell you, I know the coaches are glad to see that the team is fired up, but if you get your defense jumping up and down and throwing a lot of emotion, they're going to wear themselves out before the game gets on. You want them to get down and just play good, solid defense.
This is Stefanko, and that Kecoughtan defense is swarming all over the Crabbers. They are high as a kite coming into this game, but this is going to be a long game. 4 12-minute quarters. Just a reminder for those of you who may not be familiar with the rules of high school football, you may be used to 15-minute quarters. That is not what the case is in high school. It's 4 12-minute quarters.
And you notice that Mike Smith sends in all the plays. He'll rotate his, it looks like now he's rotating his split ends or his split receivers to bring in the plays. And sometimes this can cause a problem and get you a penalty for delay a game if you're not quick enough.
3rd down and about 6 for the Crabbers. Eric Hunter, the big junior quarterback, wants to throw. He does. Stefanko has got it, but he will be well short of the first down as a swarm of Kecoughtan Warriors were over there, along with, not the least of which was Reggie High, 6'2", 240 tackle. And also in on the stop, let's give credit to number 81, Ray Alvis.
I'll tell you, Tim, that pass, if it had been on the money and he didn't have to slow down to catch it, he would have probably picked up a lot more yardage. That's got to be a crisp pass with no, wow.
Mike Houston does a super job of feeling the high snap from center. The Hampton Crabbers benefit by a roll of the ball all the way to the Kecoughtan 40. So what might have been a disaster on a good fielding effort by Mike Houston, coming into the game, he averaged 34.7 yards per kick. And this one
looks like it's about 30 yards is all.
Well, it went pretty good. Let's see, the line of scrimmage was the 26. So he ended up with about 35 yards. So with that roll, it was a real low kick, and Hampton was real lucky that time to get away with as bad a field position as they have. Kecoughtan now will start from their 40, 1st and 10. Eric Williams hands off, first man through for a couple of tough yards, maybe 4. In on the stop for the Crabbers, number 55, Jefferson Lawrence, among others.
That was Reed on the handoff. Now he's wearing number 10, who is normally, that's the number that Eric Williams, the quarterback, normally has. And I don't know if it's, the coaches told me that they have different numbers on the green jerseys than they do with the white jerseys.
Nothing happening this time. Crabber defense read that play. Williams handed off and immediately met in the backfield. On the carry this time was Monty Johnson, 5'9", 140-pound senior for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Johnson, coming into the game, is the 3rd leading ball carrier, averaging almost 80 yards per game for the Warriors. But he gets nothing that time. And it'll be 3rd down and a long 5 for the Warriors.
Which is a passing situation. And then we'll see if the Crabbers are going to pass. They're going to use a draw.
Johnson on the draw, comes up shy of the first down, needs to actually cross midfield, and they'll mark the ball right at the 47. So the Warriors, with 3 tries, come up with about 7 yards total offense, and now they'll be in deep punt formation. We'll see Milan Brown go back, standing inside his 35. No rush from the Warriors, the Crabbers. There is a flag down on the play, however. This is Stefanko trying to turn the corner. and won't get much, but let's see exactly what the flag will be for.
Well, Tim, I don't know if
There you see it.
it's sitting almost at the line of scrimmage. That could have been that Kecoughtan goes out real quick and tries to snap the ball before the defense can get their defensive back to receive the ball, and maybe one of their teammates was not set, and that's the preliminary call.
So we apparently will have a penalty forthcoming against the Kecoughtan Warriors. I would speculate that Hampton might, in fact, take the penalty to possibly get a better run back. Stefanko didn't have much success on that return. So it's going to be 4th down, but instead of 4th and a long 2, it'll be 4th and a long 7. Alon Brown will be, again, in deep punt formation. This time he'll be standing inside his 30. And Stefanko will be the lone deep receiver for the Crabbers.
And this gives the Crabbers a chance to maybe rush the kicker this time. I don't think they were ready.
So Brown gets the kick away. He's got the wind behind it. Stefanko grabbed by the arm and won't get much. He gets maybe 3 on the return. So the Warriors fired up for this game. As you might expect, they are the last team to have defeated the Crabbers. Did so right here last year, 16-5. A defeat the Crabbers possibly benefited by, if you can, in fact, because it seemed to turn around their program for the rest of the season. The Crabbers went undefeated for the remaining 6 games, including, obviously, the championship game where the Crabbers won the state championship. Eric Hunter, the quarterback. They've marked it at the 29-yard line. This is little Mike Stefanko, and not much happening there.
I tell you, I am so impressed with Stefanko. I know you had alluded to this last week when we had him, but he's not afraid to go into the line. He's not a real big player, big in stature, but he'll go to the inside, he'll go to the outside, he'll catch passes, he'll run the punts and kickoffs back. He's just a tremendous worker for the Hampton Crabbers.
Stefanko gets about 2 yards, 2nd down and almost 8. Fake to Stefanko. Williams wants to pass. He's got a man open, and he's got it completed in Kecoughtan territory. A flag goes down immediately along with the ball carrier. That's Antonio Hyman, the flanker, made the grab. A good play, but there is a flag down. Clipping is the call against the Crabbers. So an apparent first down. If it's from the point of infraction, well, let's see how they sort this out.
If it's from the point of the infraction, it'll still be a first down, Tim. You go back 15 yards, you're back at the 45, which is a first down. What happened that time was the other receiver out there was running his pass pattern, and he saw that the young man caught the ball, and then he threw a block. Of course, you can't throw a block from behind, and that's what he did.
So they've marked the ball at the 30, check that, the 43 of Kecoughtan. They're going to mark it from the point of the infraction, which is the 45, and that will actually give it a first down to Hampton by 1 yard. So they need to get to the 39 for the first down. It'll be marked at the 40.
Well, that was an excellent pass. Eric Hunter has got a very strong arm. He's just a junior, but he's 6'4", and a very healthy young man, because Mike Smith has told me that he's got a real strong arm. And that receiver was pretty open, Tim.
All right, so the Crabbers will get a first down. Instead of being in Kecoughtan territory, they are still at their own 40. Pitch out comes to Stefanko to the near side. Looks inside of one block, and then is wrestled out of bounds just at the midfield stripe. And that will be close to a first down. It'll depend exactly on where they mark the ball. I believe, yes, he does have a first down.
Yeah, he had to get across the 50, Tim, and he just did get the nose of the ball across the 50. And I know if they had to measure that, I got an eagle eye Cole here next to it. You would have picked that one out, no problem.
So the Crabbers now have the ball just inside Kecoughtan territory. 6 minutes and 9 seconds remain here in the first quarter, and we have no score. This again is, well, this is Summers this time. Summers shows some good moves. He gets down across the 45 to about the 42, pickup of almost 8. Crabbers on offense averaging a little more than 21 points per game while giving up just 2 points per game.
Well,
Warriors, excuse me, on the other side of the coin, the Warriors come in averaging over 19 points a game, but they're giving up more than 12 and a half.
They're doing some, the left side of that Hampton Crabber deep offense really opened up a nice off-tackle hole that time and allowed Summers to get through there and pick up 8 yards.
This again is Summers, and Summers has the first down as he is down close to the 36 of Kecoughtan. So the Crabbers now grinding out some yardage. They've gotten a couple of first downs, and this is another one as they'll mark the ball just shy of the 35.
Well, they are basically a ball control offense. They want to get the ball, they want to grind out the yardage, go down and score, and as long as they have the ball, the other team can't score, and that's their philosophy, and they do a lot of the basics real good, and the point of contact at the line of scrimmage makes the difference in controlling the ball.
Stefanko gets the call, right side for a couple. Over there for the Warriors on the stop, Reggie High again, number 79, along with number 50, Curtis Wilson. Reggie High comes in the game at a cool 240. 2-yard pickup for Stefanko. Mike Stefanko coming into the game, averaging over 120 yards per ball game. We saw him play against Lafayette last week, and he had a real good game against them. He actually had more than 120 yards.
Yeah, he was awesome in that game.
Hunter has time, now does some scrambling. He'll do a little running of his own. He's not known for his running, and he wisely steps out of bounds shy of the first down, but he stepped out of bounds so he can play another play. Now the quarterbacks they're smart when it comes to that.
Well, I tell you, you don't want to get your quarterback hurt, and there's no sense for him to take a shot, step out of bounds. 1 or 2 yards isn't going to make that much difference, but if you lose your starting quarterback, then you're losing a lot of, you're losing your field general and all the time, and it goes in the backfield for your offensive plays.
Hunter stepped out of bounds right at the 30. So it's 3rd down and 5 for the for the Crabbers. This is Stefanko, and he is stopped shy of the first down. He's good 3 yards shy as the left side of the defensive line for Kecoughtan came up strong. That was Ray Alvis, number 81, in on the stop. And now the Crabbers will be looking at a 4th down. What do you think he'll
well, I don't think he's going to punt it, and I think it's a little too far going into the wind when that wind gusts for Houston to kick a field goal, but they got to definitely go for it.
What about a irregular cadence count?
They've been known to do that, Tim.
See if they can't draw someone off. Long count, perhaps. And Hunter, again, you don't know whether that was an attempt at that or possibly saw the defensive alignment was not what he wanted to look at.
Well, I would have to say that was exactly what he wanted to do, Tim. If you got just a second before you go through one of your tongue twisters, I did talk to some of the coaches tonight, and Danny Mitchell in particular is assistant coach over at Hampton High School, and he wanted me to wish his son, young Danny Mitchell, he is 2 years old today, and he said that make sure I mention that he's having a birthday party tonight, and everybody's invited. Of course, by the time they hear this, it's already over.
He's a smart one, isn't he? Everybody come on out to the game, to the party last Saturday night.
Yeah.
So, young Danny, we were talking with Danny Mitchell Sr. last night. He was talking about the fact that the Crabbers have been quite serious about this game. You know, Mike Smith doesn't like to lose any games. And
that's right.
They remembered that loss last year quite vividly. And the team has been kind of tense all week, but I understand Danny had some stories to kind of loosen the boys up a little bit.
Yes, which we won't get into that. But we got a chance also. I want to mention his daughter went up in gymnastics competition day up in Richmond, came away with a first and the best all around, which we need to pat her on the back for that too.
All right, now the Crabbers looking at a 4th down. They again do not elect to go into a kicking formation. 4th and 4. Hunter looks, quick pass in the flat, and it's going to be enough for a first down, apparently.
Looks like he stepped out of bounds right at the marker, Tim.
It'll be real close then. Well, okay, so he didn't get it. Apparently, it looked like he did, but it was complete to Andre Davis, but he stepped out of bounds prematurely, so unfortunately for the Crabbers, and fortunately for the Warriors, they get the ball.
Well, that was an excellent call. Had he stayed in bounds, he would have definitely picked up the first down.
So the Warrior defense stiffens and holds, and with 3:35 to go in the first quarter, Kecoughtan takes over with no score. Williams pitches back to Monty Johnson. Johnson's got some running room. He's dragged down. The ball pops loose. I believe they'll rule, as in fact they will. They'll rule that his knee was down and there is no fumble.
Oh, I'm glad I didn't have to call that. That looked awful close. It almost looked like a fumble.
I'm reminded by the ruling that the ground cannot create a fumble, and apparently that will be their ruling, that as he hit the ground, the ball popped loose. So again, a judgment call. It looked like from here it was probably a good call. Nonetheless, it will stand, and it's a first down for the Warriors at their 47-yard line.
That's the first time tonight we've seen a triple option or the veer as the Kecoughtan Warriors run.
Williams hands off to Reed on the inside. Reed out close to midfield.
Alan Reed, the ball carrier for Kecoughtan.
Several Crabbers in on the stop, along with Jefferson Lawrence. So they've actually marked the ball just across the 50-yard line. So Kecoughtan now in Hampton territory. A little more than 2 minutes and 40 seconds to go in the first quarter, and we have no score. Warriors 4-2 on the season. The Crabbers undefeated at 7-0. Reed gets the fake. Monty Johnson gets the ball, and two Crabbers get Monty Johnson.
That is a very high-risk offense, Tim. I'm sorry to interrupt you, but that was very close to being a fumble on that pitch.
We saw a fumble on a lateral, or at least it was ruled a lateral in the Friday night game between Bethel and Phoebus, which we still won't certainly make any judgment on, but we've talked to some people who have continued to express the same opinion we did, that it did not appear to be a lateral, but that's neither here nor there. That's history. Third down and 9 for Kecoughtan. Williams wants to pass, throws long, and a little too long, as his intended receiver, Milan Brown, number 42, was well covered by the Crabbers, and the ball was just overthrown. So now Kecoughtan will face a 4th and 9 at their 48-yard line.
They get their punting unit in there real fast, but the only problem this time is their punter is the young man they just threw the ball to, Milan Brown. So he's got to run all the way back up here and get into punt formation, catch his breath, and hope he can kick the ball.
Brown with a lot of time gets it away. Stefanko feels it on the run, looks to return to the right side, now reverses his field, trying to pick up a block or two. You know, you got to really wrestle him to the ground. Stefanko is a tough cookie.
That's a good shot of the tackle, but he is. They just don't get a solid hit on him.
So the Crabbers run all over the field, but in essence, net only about 3 or 4 yards on the return, and they'll start deep in their own territory again at their 25-yard line.
Well, they have started back in their end of the field all night long. It seems like Kecoughtan has had much better field position, but the Hampton Crabbers have got more first downs and have moved the ball a little bit better to this point than what the Warriors have.
Eric Hunter, the quarterback. This is Summers, Todd Summers.
Number 50, Curtis Wilson, coming up to
Just
make
lost
the
him.
stop on Dwayne Murphy. Pick up a 3 on the play, brings up second down for the Crabbers. 7 yards to go for a first down.
Everything went dead, Sam.
That was a good defensive play.
Mike Watson.
It makes it 3rd and about 18.
10 yards on the play. Brings up third down for the Crabbers. 18 yards to go for a first down. That's the end of the first quarter. Score, Kickoff High School 0, Hampton High School 0. The main concession stand needs stadium maintenance.
All right, so we have had a momentary loss of power here in the booth, but we understand you are still receiving our signal. So we have come to a conclusion of the first quarter, and interestingly enough, Bob, the quarter was scoreless. Did you expect it to be this way?
Well, both of these teams have good defensive units, Tim, and I didn't expect a high-scoring game like we had last night. Of course, last night I didn't figure there'd be 63 points scored either. That was a lot more points than I would have guessed. But the Hampton Crabbers right now are in a real situation where they're hurt because they've got 3rd and 17, and they're backed up very close to their own end zone, and they're going to have to punt if they don't get a first down, which will give the Warriors a tremendous field position again.
So if we lost it momentarily, we've got our power back now, and we again want to make you aware of the fact that this game is being aired on Tuesday and Thursday this week, along with Friday morning at 9 a.m. The evening times are 9 p.m. And the the Bethel Phoebus game is airing Monday and Wednesday, and again Thursday morning at 9 a.m. right here on Channel 29. We're off next week, Bob, but we've got the biggie the week after that.
No, that's right. The week after next is the Hampton-Bethel game, which is always a barn burner, and that will make a season for Bethel, even if they don't make it to the playoffs. If they can knock off the Crabbers, that's to them that's a winning season almost.
3rd down and 18 for the Crabbers to start here in the second quarter. Hunter sacked moments ago. Gets good protection. Throws long. It's too long, and it's intercepted by the Warriors. And that is Joe Fluellen. He has given Kecoughtan a great opportunity.
He sure did. He threw that ball much longer than where the receiver could have gotten it, and he ran the ball back almost to the point where the Crabbers had to go to get a first down. So you look at that. That is excellent position. You're talking 36-yard line, and you talk about somebody to fire up an offense is when a defense unit gets out there and causes a turnover.
First down at the Hampton 36. Eric Williams, the quarterback, wants to throw. Steps up in the pocket, gets away from one would-be tackler, has some running room. Eludes one tackler. I tell you, Williams is slippery, and he's got a first down for the Warriors, and the Warrior fans here are getting really happy.
Well, they really are. Now, Eric Williams is much more noted as a running quarterback than Eric
Hunter.
I almost said Eric Williams. Eric Hunter is more of a passing quarterback than what Williams is, and you can see he's hard to bring down.
Picks up 16 yards on that scamper. 1st and 10 at the Hampton 20-yard line. Kecoughtan threatening, first time in the ball game. Long count by Williams. Monty Johnson gets the hole wide open, all the way down inside the 10 to the 6-yard line.
And he just ran right by the right tackle on the defense that time. That he didn't even see the ball carrier, just went right by him. That was a tremendous handoff by Williams.
1st and goal at the Hampton 6.
Kecoughtan Warriors 1st and goal to go from the Crabbers 6-yard line.
Warriors are fired up. Johnson is faked to. Williams keeps the ball, gets a tough yard. In on the stop for the Crabbers, number 60, Weymouth Williams. Along with number 70 for the Crabbers, that is Sherwood Jones.
Well, this is where it's tough. When you're down there within 5 yards of that goal line, you don't have as much room to maneuver. And of course, if you go in a passing situation, you only got 10 yards in the end zone. So this is a real test for the Warriors to get that ball in the end zone.
They've got 2 wide receivers to the right. Williams has a mix-up in the backfield as he hands off to Monty Johnson, and Johnson, is met instantly and savagely by James Wilson, number 88 for the Crabbers. So the Crabbers defense, which they're known for, has to come up with a big play here.
They really do, and that time they were going to try to fake to the inside man and maybe pitch to the outside to get maybe some running room there, but it just never did materialize because Hampton was in the backfield too quick.
3rd and goal at the 7. Quick look in goes incomplete as the intended receiver for Kecoughtan, Ray Alvis, number 81. The ball was thrown behind him and it falls incomplete. So now Kecoughtan will be looking at 4th and goal at the 7.
That was an excellent call because Ray Alves was open in the end zone. The pass was just too low. Now Rule is a good kicker for the Warriors, and this is an excellent opportunity for them to go on the board first.
He'll be kicking it from the 14-yard line, a 24-yard attempt. It's long enough, and it's good.
When you cause a turnover, you need to come up with some points, and that's what that's what the Warriors did. But also, the Hampton Crabbers are saying they had 1st and goal from the 5, and we held them to 3 points, so they can take that as a positive also, Tim.
So Kecoughtan, the nemesis for the Crabbers, gets on the scoreboard first. You know, the Crabbers have only lost 4 games in the last 3 or 4 years, and 2 of those losses were at the hands of the Kecoughtan Warriors. 9:15 to go here in the first half. Kecoughtan on top, 3-0. The Crabbers trying to keep that spotless record going. They are ranked 14th in the nation by USA Today, and obviously are ranked number 1 in the state. And Kecoughtan would like nothing better than to have an upset victory over the Crabbers. But we're a long way from this game being over, so hold tight. Kick is taken by one of the up men at the 15-yard line. And he's taken down at the 24-yard line, so Grady McLean, the do-it-all player for the Hampton Crabbers, picks up about 9 on the return, and the Crabbers will start from their 24.
It just didn't look like he was sure where he wanted to go with the ball that time after he got it, and you can't be indecisive out there. You got to make a move and go for it. And Kecoughtan has been tremendous on the special teams, getting down on the punts and the kickoffs.
Hunter gives to Stefanko. Stefanko having little success on the left side. Chris Wilson over on the stop for the Kecoughtan Warriors. Clock moving, 8:35 to go in the first half. Crabbers picked up 3 yards on that ball carry, and that gives them a 2nd down and 7. You're looking into the Crabber huddle there momentarily. Hunter pitches back to Summers. Summers is swarmed over by the Kecoughtan Warrior defense.
The coaching staff has really done a good job for the Warriors because they have been right on top of the Crabbers all night. They just can't seem to find an opening.
Mark Verneal, number 71, one of the first Kecoughtan Warriors there. He made the initial contact, and then the rest of the Warrior pursuit covered Todd Summers. So now the Crabbers are looking at 3rd and 9.
Well, this is definitely a passing situation, Tim, but also Kecoughtan pursues real good, which they would be vulnerable to a reverse or a counter play of some sort.
Hunter wants to pass, has time, throws long. It's tipped by the Kecoughtan defender. The intended receiver, Hyman, never really had any opportunity to catch the ball. And the ball was tipped, in fact, by Barry Allen, number 7 of Kecoughtan.
Had he not tipped it, I believe the Kecoughtan would have intercepted that ball.
So the Crabbers, stymied again, will have to kick. And the ball will be at their 26-yard line.
Alan Reed back deep for the Warriors.
Mike Houston standing back inside the 15. He'll have little or no wind behind this one. He gets a high spiraling kick. It hits at the 41 and takes a crabber roll, and it'll blow dead at the 34-yard line. So Kecoughtan comes up with the 3 points and then is able to hold the Crabbers for 3 downs, and they'll get the ball back.
Well, what got them to 3 points was the defense. The defense caused a turnover, and nothing will excite the offense any more than getting the ball back in real good field position. So this is what the Hampton Crabbers are going to have to try to do, is to cause a turnover down in the Kecoughtan Warrior end of the field.
7 minutes to go in the first half. 3-0 Kecoughtan. They've got the ball at their 34. This is Monty Johnson. He's ridden to the ground by Mohamed Carlos, number 65 of the Crabbers, along with Denny Mitchell. Not Danny Mitchell, that's Denny Mitchell. We've had Danny Mitchell owes us something for all the plugs we've given him and his family here.
Right.
Is he on the payroll? Are you on his payroll?
I might be on his payroll. I don't know. He's a good guy. I like
I'm
Danny.
teasing. It's nice to have the coaching staff to take the time to talk with us, and we really appreciate it. I had another chance to talk with Steve Washington, one of the assistant coaches for the Crabbers. This is Johnson. Monty Johnson gets close to the first down.
And that was real close. If the fans saw that, the quarterback, Williams, was hit as he handed the ball off. And had the defender been 1 step closer, sooner he may have got the ball instead of the runner.
Okay, they're going to bring the chain across. It would look from here like it's about 2 inches shy of the first down.
Here we go.
Just hazard
Man's foot is
a couple of inches shy, I think.
We'll see. Okay, you're putting yourself up, to
Yep, there we go. About, I was off. It was 3 inches shy.
I tell you what, you didn't even use your binoculars for that.
I didn't. That was easy. I don't know why they brought the chain across that time. Just kidding, folks. These officials doing a fine job out here. They get maligned a lot, but these guys are out here. Most of them are doing it for little or nothing other than the enjoyment of the sport. I think they get a token, stipend for coming out here. So they do a great job. These guys are super.
And they do catch a little bit of flack every now and then, as we saw last night.
Yeah, in fact, we caught a lot of flack. 3rd down and inches on the quarterback keeper. It appears that Williams has enough for the first down. It depends on how and where they mark the ball.
Yeah, he definitely got across the 45, which he had to get across to get the first down.
So the Kecoughtan Warriors now with little less than 6 minutes. Clock is moving, and they lead by 3. Again, it goes back to the theory that the Crabbers like to enjoy. If you've got the football, it's hard for the other team to score.
That's right.
Williams hands off to Monty Johnson.
I tell you, Tim, the Hampton Crabber defense is out on the field a whole lot longer this first half so far than what they're used to being. It's usually the offense is out there and controls the ball, and the defense is resting, but not tonight.
To the Crabber 48-yard line.
Pickup of a little more than 7 yards. Call it almost 8, so it'll be 2nd down and a long 2 for the Warriors. And they have put a dent in that Hampton defense tonight. Williams pivots and cuts up inside on a design play for him to keep the football, and he's got another first down.
He's calling an excellent game so far, Tim.
That's a pretty play, He kind of faked to his left and then spun around and hit the hole between the guard and tackle and picked up about 3 yards. So another first down for the Warriors.
And we've got a chance to see some of the, there's Mike Horton, who is one of the assistant coaches for the Warriors on the sideline. And we got a good shot of Mike.
Another first down for the Warriors at the Hampton 44. And nothing happening this time as Reed was racked up as he got back to the 45.
Alan Reed, the ball carrier for Kecoughtan. Weymouth Williams making the
Weymouth Williams in on the stop for the Crabbers, a name that we have mentioned on numerous occasions, not only this year but last year as well. Weymouth Williams does a fine job on defense for the Crabbers.
Well, the whole unit's going to have to raise up here and stop the Warriors, because at the point they're going, the offense didn't get a chance to get on the field very much.
Loss of a yard, second down and 11 for the Warriors. Look-in pass almost intercepted by the Crabbers. With a good chance there was Grady McLean, but he just simply couldn't handle the football. So it falls harmlessly incomplete. Third down and 11 for Kecoughtan.
I don't even believe that Barry Allen, the intended receiver, was looking for the ball to come that fast, because the number 22 just stepped. He followed the ball. He was watching the quarterback and was going for the ball the whole time. Now, this is definitely another passing situation. You got third and 11. It could be a good time for either draw or a screenplay also. And they've had tremendous success with the triple option and the pitch.
Deep drop, setting up the screen. This is Reed. He's got some room, but he'll come up shy of the first down. Over there making the stop was Kenneth Owens for the Crabbers, number 2. So that would look like it might go for some yardage, but he didn't really have any blockers out in front of him, and the Crabber defense reacted fairly fast to the fact that he was on the screen.
Right, and I believe the quarterback just went back too fast too soon. And wow, that's a beautiful kick.
He got all of that one in the end zone and through the end zone. So Milan Brown kicks it 40 yards and then some. You don't have to worry about a return on that type of kick.
Boy, you sure don't. But he would have liked to have aimed that thing or angled it out of bounds and maybe pinned the Crabbers down a little deeper.
We are happy to have the ability to take some shots of the stands and a lot of the crowd here. Good crowd on hand. Hampton side of the field not quite filled, but we've got a good-looking crowd here, and they're seeing a real good ball game. Hampton trailing 3-0. Little more than 3 minutes and 20 seconds to go here in the first half, and they'll start from their 20. This is Summers breaking through. He's up close to a first down. They mark it just across the 30, and it will be a first down.
Tim, if you remember last night, we commented on the far sideline that even though Phoebus had only lost one game, that we were surprised that it wasn't as full as we thought it would be. And if you'll see that the Hampton side over there now, this is the Hampton is the visiting team tonight, that is a pretty well packed over there, except close to the end zones.
Well, they marked the ball squarely on the 30. I might have been a little premature in calling it first down. They say, I can't figure that one. If it's squarely on the 30-yard line, which it is, how can it be short of a first down?
That's why, because they started on the 20.
Yeah, but
maybe the chain is 10 yards and an inch or something, Tim.
About 9 yards and 11 inches or whatever. Nonetheless, the Crabbers get the first down as Stefanko picks it up. He's out to close to the 40.
Well, he picked up almost 10 yards on that carry.
Alvarez making the stop on Mike Stefanko.
So on a short and an inch, a second down and a short inch, Stefanko picks up about 9 yards. And the Crabbers get another first down, but they need to work that clock a little more efficiently. They're down inside of 3 minutes to go. And they're 60 yards away from a score, and no success on the left side as Stefanko was met almost immediately. He may have 2 yards. Looks like they'll end up giving him about 3. So we'll call it second down and 7, but the clock continues to move. Crabbers called a timeout early in the game when they had a 4th and 3 and tried to examine the defense.
Right.
Hunter called a timeout, so they have used at least one of their timeouts. Second and 7. Hunter hands off inside. It's Stefanko again. And he'll be shy of the first down. Clock continues to move. 2 minutes and 10 seconds. And the clock is moving.
44, Sean Starcher making the stop for Kecoughtan.
Well, I know the coaching staff would like to get a touchdown, but if they could get close enough for Mike Houston to kick a field goal, they would love to do it, because what wind we do have would be in his favor. Right now, the flag is just hanging limp.
Third down and about 1. Quick look in goes incomplete. The intended receiver was Brian Gerzak. number 81 for the Crabbers, and he couldn't quite come up with the football. Gerzak being a name I'm familiar with. I don't know whether he's related to the Gerzaks that went to Hampton back in the old days when I was a student there.
That is the old days, isn't it?
That is the old, we're talking pre-helmet days, and that's why I'm a little punchy as it is. We didn't wear helmets.
Well, when I played, we had helmets. We didn't have any face masks. So when they grabbed you, usually your nose they got a hold of or something.
Crabbers now, 4th down, and along one, they're going to go for it. This is Summers. He's got the first down and then some as he's down close to the Kecoughtan 40-yard line. 1:39 to go, and the clock will stop with the movement of the first down chains.
And this is when it takes a little time off the clock when you have to call the plays or send the plays in. And this time, evidently, he had sent a couple plays in because the quarterback was ready to go. And just now, the clock got started again.
So the Crabbers hurry up offense. This is Summers, left side, and he's got some more good yardage. You know, let's back up for a second here. I'm thinking, boy, the Crabbers want to score, but they also don't want to get away from their game plan. They're only behind 3-0. They've got a whole second half to go, and now we've got a timeout being called by the Crabbers. That's their second timeout.
Right.
And to follow up with that, I think you'll agree with me. If the game plan for the Crabbers is to run the ball and to work the ball down the field, they're not in any hurry. They're not behind 3 touchdowns here. We're talking field goals. So.
But this will give their offense a lot of confidence too, Tim. And while we got a chance, as the fans can see, Mike Smith is in the huddle talking to the Crabbers. I'd like to take this time to thank the stadium crew for doing such an excellent job. This field is in excellent shape for the use that it gets, and that's Larry Malloy and his staff here at the stadium just do an excellent job of keeping this in good playing condition. And of course, we know next year we will not be here. We don't know where we'll be, but the year after next we'll have a new stadium, and that's going to be a nice thing to come back to. I also like to mention Joe Lewis, who is the concession stand man down there, and he gives Dr. Sam and us a drink or two to keep our whistles wet.
I haven't seen one of those infamous hot dogs yet, though. I keep seeing them fly by me, but I haven't seen one rest in front of me yet.
Well, they have the wings, and they got initials on them. It says SS. Now, I don't know if that's Superman or Sam Stillman. I don't know.
I don't know. One of those hot dogs passed by my nose last night, but I haven't seen one rest in front of me yet. I don't need them anyway. So 1:17 remains here. We've got football all this week for you. I don't know what night you might be watching this game, but we've got games Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. We got games Thursday morning at 9 and Friday morning at 9. So tune to Channel 29 for the best in local high school football. Nothing happening on that play. Crabbers get nowhere. Again, officials stop the clock.
Well, it may be close enough for a first down or to measure. I don't know. It is a first down, Tim.
They've indicated, okay, I was thinking that they needed a little more than they had gotten, but they did, in fact, get the first down. Clock is stopped while they reset the chains. Now it's restarted with 1:10, and the clock is moving. They're at the Kecoughtan 30-yard line. Getting closer to Houston territory. This is Stefanko. He may not need Mike Houston. And he cuts inside. He's down inside the 15. And the Crabbers are grinding it out now. We're inside 1:56 seconds. The clock will stop once again while they reset the chains.
There was 2 or 3 guys that had a shot at Mike Stefanko that time, but nobody could get a good shot at him. He is such an elusive runner. And as I mentioned last week, he is being recruited by William & Mary because the young man has got over a 3-point grade average at Hampton High School.
46 seconds, clock moving. This is Stefanko. Not much happening here, as the Crabbers have a first down at the Kecoughtan 14, and they have gotten easily within Mike Houston's field goal range. But now a timeout called by the Crabbers as they wanted to have the clock stop primarily, and of course a chance to maybe call 2 plays in the huddle in the event that they need them.
Well, this is where the coach Mike Smith is going to come out and talk to him also, Tim, but that is their last timeout. So if they don't get a first down, they've got to get that field goal kicking unit on the field and kick the ball before the time runs out. The only way you can do that is hopefully if you're running pass plays and it's an incompleted pass which stops the clock. So we'll see what Mike Smith talks as we can see the Kecoughtan huddle right there. You got something for us, you silver-tongued devil?
After I stumbled over these things last night, you think I'm crazy. I won't do this one because that one always twists my tongue. I can't even say it. Channel 29 provides the most extensive coverage of high school sports in Hampton Roads, whether it's baseball, basketball, football, swimming, or girls AAA softball championship.
That's right.
Which we did last year. I had the pleasure of doing the Kecoughtan girls team in the championships. They unfortunately didn't win, but they certainly held their heads high as runner-ups in the state. Anyway, you want to watch high school sports, right here is your station, Channel 29. 37 seconds left. We've got time for a pass in the end zone. It's going to be completed. Touchdown!
Oh, that went right between two defenders, Tim. That was unbelievable. Concentration on that ball was great. I don't know how he caught it because there were two defenders. I thought it was going to be picked off. I really did.
Touchdown Grabbers.
Antonio Hyman it was just a matter of an inch. If he didn't get it, the Kecoughtan Warrior had it, and nobody between him and 99 yards of yardage. So the Crabbers get on the scoreboard. Houston picks it up, and he scores the extra point. So the Crabbers bound back here with just 31 seconds to go in the second quarter, and they now lead by the score of 7-3. That was a real risky play when you think about it. It was two Kecoughtan defenders there.
That's right.
And one of them pick it off. There was nobody between him and the goal line at the other end of the
And
field.
plus, he had a blocker in front of him. But, Tim, that was a very impressive drive that the Hampton did that time. They started from deep in their own territory, and they moved the ball all the way down and to score. And, boy, nothing will fire your team up any quicker than going in at halftime after a score, because we only got 31 seconds to go in the half, as you can see.
We'll give credit to the coaching ideas of Mike Smith. He didn't panic. The team didn't start throwing the ball all over the field. They simply grounded out, passed when they needed to, and they capped it with a 13-yard touchdown pass. Antonio Hyman in the end zone for the touchdown. Long, high kick. This is going to make it to the end zone and out. And, you know, that was not with any aid of the wind. This wind is dead still at this moment. So Houston, with that strong leg of his, boots it into the end zone.
Well, that's one way to make sure that there's not a run back. And now that means that you got 80 yards to go. Kecoughtan has got 31 seconds. What will they do, Tim? You think that they're going to put it up?
You know, you'd almost expect with a situation where you're 4-2 on the year and you're playing in the game of the year as far as your team is concerned, you don't want to do anything foolish right now. You're still in the ball game. You're only trailing by 4 points. So I would suspect he'll more or less just keep it fairly conservative.
Well, and you're right, and that's what it looks like he's going to do. But also, if you remember that Hampton received at the first half, so that means Kecoughtan's going to get the ball when they come back. So why not run it off instead of take a chance to throw the ball, maybe an interception, which would maybe lead to an early another score, an easy score for the Crabbers.
We may have, in fact, seen the last play of the first half. You know, I haven't had a chance to mention this. Where's Mr. Womble tonight?
AG is off. I don't know if he's going to go see the Giants this weekend to New York or where he's going, but we're missing him tonight.
He's a traveling man, I'll tell you. All right, the teams are traveling to the locker rooms. Our score at halftime, the Hampton Crabbers 7, the Kecoughtan Warriors 3. We've got a good one going. Stay tuned for the second half. We'll have more action right after this brief timeout. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz back at Darling Stadium. Our score at halftime, the Kecoughtan Warriors trailing Hampton 7-3. The Kecoughtan Warriors led for the best part of the first half, but with just 31 seconds remaining in the first half, Hampton was able to get on the board with a 13-yard touchdown pass from Hunter to Hyman, and the extra point by Houston was good, and that wiped out the 24-yard field goal kicked at 9:15 of the second quarter by rule of Kecoughtan. But we've got anyone's ball game still looking at us here. Bob, how do you expect to see the second half?
Well, I don't know exactly what the adjustment that the coaches have made during halftime, but I know Hampton's got to do some adjustments because Kecoughtan controlled the ball for at least 75% of the time that first half, and that means that your defense is out there and they're going to get tired. And Hampton's defense is not used to being out there because Hampton's a team that keeps the ball offensively and goes on long drives and eats up the clock. But tonight it's been Kecoughtan has been doing that. And as you said, that Crabbers scored with 31 seconds to go in the first half, but that was a dangerous pass from our perspective. Where we could see, it looked like two Kecoughtan Warriors had a chance to intercept that ball right between both of them, right into the arms of the receiver in the end zone. So I know both coaches have made some minor adjustments before they come back out, but Hampton will kick off and be on defense, and of course if they can get a good job defensively from their defensive unit out there, stop the Warriors deep and make a punt, and then go from there. That's what they're going to have to do, is get some good work out of their defensive unit, which they have all year, Tim.
You know, the Crabbers have been up and down. You know, we talked with Steve Washington before the game, one of the assistant coaches, and he was talking about last year. Of course, the Crabbers lost those 2 games back-to-back, one to Lafayette and then to Kecoughtan, which was the last defeat at the situation for Hampton. But, you know, the Crabbers 7-0, ranked 14th in the nation, have not exactly walked all over everybody they've played. They had a tough 15-7 victory over George Washington of Danville. They beat Menchville, who's, you know, really at the bottom of the standings. Menchville has only won 1 game while losing 6, and the Crabbers beat them 14-3. So the Crabbers are not unfamiliar with being in a close ball game. They have not, you know, been all dominating. In fact, looking down their victories on the season, they went 33-0 over Petersburg. Then they scored 18-0 over Phoebus, 15-7 over GW, 20-0 over Denby, 27-6 over Ferguson, 14-3 over Menchville. And they weren't awesome in that victory over Lafayette last week. So, you know, one of the things Washington said was that the Crabbers peaked very early last year. Right. So we may be looking at a team that's still rising in its effectiveness, and they're having a tough time with Kecoughtan here.
Oh, they really are, but the coaches do a real good job of getting these young men ready for the playoffs, and each game, I know that I talked to Danny Mitchell, and they take about 42 hours of game preparation through the week. Now, I'm talking after the practice scheduling is done, when you've taught school all day, you go through practices, then you are putting in 42 more hours of charting the defenses and offenses and what you're going to do against different situations. So I know that the teams are really prepared when they come in, but these young men have a lot to know before they get to the ball game.
We're underway in the second half. This one will be taken by Reed at the 8-yard line for Kecoughtan, and he'll bring it out to the 25. So about a 17-yard return for Alan Reed for Kecoughtan, and the Warriors will have the ball to start the second half, and they'll start from their 25, first and 10, trailing 7-3.
5-yard line, first and 10, Kecoughtan.
Had a chance to chat with Coach Dennis Kozlowski of the Bethel Bruins here during the halftime ceremonies, and needless to say, I've heard Dennis sound better. He is hoarse, and of course that the game last night, I'm sure every game that he's involved in, he's so much involved in the game, he just talks himself hoarse as the Kecoughtan Warriors open up the first possession of the second half with a big 15-yard gainer, and what appears to be, well, take that 13 yards, but nonetheless enough for the first down.
Well, that is the same play that they had success with during the first half, Tim, where it's just an off tackle. It's the first man going through on that veer. They're giving him the ball, and he's got a seam there and goes through it. And I thought maybe the Hampton would do a little adjustment so that wouldn't happen. So let's see what happens now.
First down at the 38. Johnson gets the call. He gets 2 to the 40. And it'll be second down and 8 for Kecoughtan.
That was the same play, Tim, that time, but they were They were ready for it defensively.
This game is airing Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. and it will also air a third time. That'll be 9 a.m. on Friday. And the Bethel-Phoebus game is airing Monday and Wednesday at 9 and Thursday morning at 9 a.m. here on Channel 29. Pickup of about 2, second down and 8 for the Warriors. A fake and a pitch out comes to Reed, and Reed will be driven out of bounds inside the 40. Over there making the stop, Antonio Hyman for the Crabbers. He's the man who caught that pass to put Hampton in front.
As we noticed last night, Tim, we used a lot of names for these ball players, both offensively and defensively, and here's the case too where Hyman plays both offense and defense. Both of these teams have their real good athletes who will play both ways and will play the whole 48 minutes.
A loss on the play brings up a 3rd down and 9, a loss of a yard on that play. Look in, tipped away as over there was Sherwood Jones, number 70, dropping back in his linebacker position. And Williams' pass was knocked away, and it'll bring up a 4th down and 9 kicking team coming on for Kecoughtan. Milan Brown, who kicked a couple of beauties in the first half, will be standing at his 25. Gets this one off into a slight breeze, fielded by Stefanko at the 30, and he goes 3 yards backwards as quickly down the field, among others, was Barry Allen, number 7 for Kecoughtan, along with 54, Billy Mewborn.
I am very impressed with the punt coverage of the Kecoughtan Warriors. Hampton has yet to gain any significant yardage on a punt. And they're starting from about the same place as the Kecoughtan Warriors just had the ball. They were deep in their own end zone, end of the field as the Crabbers are now. They're just right across the 25.
They'll start actually from about the 28. Hunter hands off left side, and that is, check that, Summers, I believe, carrying the ball.
Yeah, I believe it was Stefanko.
Stefanko, okay. Stefanko, 44, the ball carrier, picks up about 4, 2nd down and 6 for the Crabbers. Crabbers grounded out in the 2nd quarter, started at about this place on the field and drove all the way down and scored to end the first half. And a flag is dropped at the line of scrimmage. It would appear the Crabbers have enough yardage for the first down, but there is a flag.
And it could very well be against the Crabbers, either move too soon on the line of scrimmage or something, and that's what it looks like.
Motion penalty charge to the Crabbers, so it'll wipe out the gain, and it'll make a 2nd down and about 11 for the Crabbers. They'll lose the 7 yards they got and go back 5. So the down remains the same, and now it's 2nd and 11. 9.5 minutes to go here in the 3rd quarter. Tim Cole with Bob Hintz, and no A.G. Womble tonight.
Our roving reporter he's roving someplace, Tim. I don't know where he is. But evidently he's got a commitment somewhere else tonight. We miss him.
Hyman lines up to the near side. Hunter hands off inside, tripped up as he crosses the 30-yard line is Summers.
No, that was Stefanko again.
Stefanko again. They got to change those numbers. I'm having a hard time picking them up.
Ball carrier for Hampton, number 76, Mark Banks.
Summers and Stefanko are similar in stature.
Yes, they really are. And unless you catch the number coming in, it's easy to call the wrong young man carrying the ball.
Shouldn't have any difficulty this time because Summers is out of there and Dwayne Murphy is in the backfield. This is Stefanko. Stefanko's got a few yards. He's got the first down out close to the 40.
That was a good call. That was a draw play, and I know that the defensive secondary was looking for a pass, and of course the quarterback, Hunter, dropped back as if to pass and handed off to Stefanko, and he went out up the middle and picked up the first down.
So they've marked it just shy of the 40. It'll be a first down for the Crabbers. They lead 7-3. Hyman comes to the near side. Corey Cofield sets up at the top of your screen along the far side. Inside handoff, this time Todd Summers. He's still on his feet. He's not going to be taken down easily, and he's got a first down.
There was 3 or 4 Kecoughtan Warriors that had him at about the 40. I guess that was about the 50-yard line. He just kept right on going, Tim. That was an excellent run, and that was all second effort.
Todd Summers is only 5'6", 157 pounds, and as I said, he's not dissimilar in stature because Stefanko is 5'6", and he's 145. So Summers got a little more beef on him, but they do look similar when they run the ball. This is Stefanko. Again, we could almost go the Summers-Stefanko show here as he's down close to the 46 of Kecoughtan.
Well, you see what the Crabbers are doing, Tim. They're just moving the ball, firing off at the line of scrimmage, picking up 4 or 5 yards, occasionally an 8 or 10-yarder, and controlling the ball, and this is what they want to do. Now, that means Kecoughtan's defense is going to spend a lot of time on the field if they can continue to do this.
7 yards to go for
Pickup of 3, 2nd and 7. Stefanko comes out of the ball game. Summers is in the backfield along with Dwayne Murphy, number 43. And now we've got a flag.
Well, they made a shift in the backfield, which was they haven't been doing too much tonight. They've been running from the I formation. They split their backfields, and then when he made the call to set, the lineman on the left-hand side moved, and of course that's a 5-yard penalty.
ball back to the Crabber 49-yard line. Brings up
So
second
5
down.
yards assessed
To go for
the Crabbers.
first down.
2nd down and about 11 now.
Well, the coaches hate that kind of a penalty, Tim, because that is just a mental lapse. You're not thinking. You got to be mentally tough out there and to know what's going on and be on top of the plays and every time. And when you have a simple maneuver like that and it costs you 5 yards, that really hurts.
This is Summers, left side carry, and he gets back to the original line of scrimmage, and that's about all. So he gets almost 2.
Well, Tim, now we have a situation where it is 3rd and long. It looks like it's 3rd and about 8, or long 8. And this is definitely a passing situation. We can look for a pass, a downfield, a screen pass, or even a draw play. But they ran a draw play the last time, so I don't look for the draw play to go this time.
Out of the eye. Hunter wants to pass, has time. Whips it along the near sidelines. It appears to be completed at the 35. And again, Antonio Hyman, who has had real good success tonight, comes up with a first down at the Kecoughtan 35.
Well, he did a good job of concentrating and catching that ball because it was low. He was on his knees and he had to fall backwards to catch the ball, Tim. And that was an excellent catch.
Hunter did well to stay in the pocket as well. Now, he showed good discipline there. Hunter is a junior quarterback, and I'm sure Mike Smith looks for great things from him, not only this year, but next year as well. Stefanko struggles forward close to the 30. Now, Stefanko is playing his last season for the Crabbers. He is a senior.
Mike Stefanko.
And they will surely miss him next year because he is the all heart, and I know just because the way he plays that he extorts his teammates to even play harder than what they normally would play. He's a tremendous team leader.
At this point, Stefanko is in a tie with David Brown of Phoebus for the scoring championship, assuming that during that 55-12 rout Denby had over Granby last night, that they didn't have a lot of points scored by one particular individual. This is going to be close to another first down, as this drive is almost a carbon copy of the drive we saw toward the end of the first quarter.
It most certainly is, Tim. It's 3rd and short now, so they really have 2 chances at this point. They're not going to, if they don't make it 3rd, they'll go ahead and go for it from this point for a 4th down.
First down, ball just short of the Warrior 25-yard line.
3rd and 1, 2 wide receivers go to the left of the lineup for the Crabbers. And out of the eye, the handoff goes to Dwayne Murphy, and Murphy comes up short of the first down. So a good defensive effort by Kecoughtan. Curtis Wilson, number 50, in there on the stop for the Warriors. So it will not be a first down, and you're right. Now the Crabbers will have to weigh the decision of going for the first down or possibly trying a field goal, which would be a long one.
Well,
But
I see
Houston
they
has
sent in
exhibited that ability.
Right, they've sent in Stefanko, and I look for them to go off the right side. They seem to have more luck going off the right side than they have off the left side.
And an irregular cadence count perhaps by the Crabbers, but you know, Kecoughtan, well disciplined, well coached. They're not falling for that tonight, and I'm sure game films of past have indicated to teams that Hampton will do this.
They're
not buying it anymore.
Most certainly do it, and we've seen them through the 2 playoffs that they have, when they play other teams, that they catch the other teams off balance and will pick up a first down on a irregular cadence call like that.
You know, you can meet the athletes, cheerleaders, bands, students, and fans of Hampton's 4 high schools. Be sure to tune to Channel 29 this fall as we bring you the games into your home on delayed telecast. Remember, stay tuned to WHCS Channel 29. Channel 29 stays tuned to you.
Well, Tim, we're very fortunate to be able to bring these games to the fans, but I hope the fans realize that Hampton schools are really a hotbed for football in the state of Virginia. That Kecoughtan and Phoebus and Hampton and Bethel are always powerful teams, and we have produced more state champions in the last 10 years from Hampton than any other area in the state.
Very good point, and also these games are not inexpensive to perform, so the Hampton school systems are continuing to try and bring you good high school athletic coverage. Oh my goodness, 4th down and 1, forget it. George Mitchell, 6'2", 215, was in the backfield and no go for the Crabbers. They lose the ball on downs.
Well, last time when they called and one came back, Tim, if you notice, they'd run a little screen pass over to the right side. This time, all they did was hand the ball off deep in the backfield to Stefanko, but that defender came through virtually untouched and was back there and met Stefanko when he got the ball.
So Kecoughtan takes over on downs. They'll start squarely on their 30-yard line. Eric Williams, the quarterback. Hands off to Monty Johnson. Johnson will get maybe a yard or two. Among others, in there on the stop is 32 Andre Davis of Hampton.
Monty Johnson, the Warrior ball carrier.
So Johnson gets, well, they've given him almost 3 on his forward progress. The ball just shy of the 33.
Well, the Kecoughtan Warriors defense really came up with a big play and stopped Hampton on that 4th down try, and of course that'll really extort your offense to come out and get something going here.
Williams wants to pass over the center, and a flag goes down as they will rule pass interference on Barry Allen, the receiver. He was wrapped up very securely by Carlos, number 80, and over there also was Kenneth Owens, so it could have been either one of those two guilty of the infraction.
Well, it's going to go against Hampton. I wasn't privy to the play because there were 2 defenders out there and 1 offensive receiver, but it looked like to me that both the defender and the receiver were both going for the ball. There could very well have been some contact, which evidently there was because it was a call. The flag came from the very back deep official, so he's got a better angle at it than what you and I do, Tim.
So pass interference the call, a 1st down for Kecoughtan, and they will have it at their 47. 15-yard penalty from the line of scrimmage. Reed mishandles the handoff. There's a fumble. Alan Reed, number 10 for Kecoughtan, got the handoff but never really had control. But apparently Kecoughtan has recovered their own fumble.
Well, that's scary. You get a break on an interference call, you got a 1st down, and then you almost turn the ball back over. I know that the coaches on the Kecoughtan side were kind of holding their breath there for a second, wondering if they ended up with the ball or not.
Inside of 3 minutes to go, a tight ball game. Kecoughtan has the football, trailing by 4 points. The Crabbers have moved the ball but have not been able to put but 1 touchdown on the scoreboard. And a mix-up in the backfield as Eric Williams just simply had to eat the football.
It looked like there was just a miscommunication back there. He was looking for somebody to hand the ball off to, and there was nobody there.
James Wilson was there, number 88 for Hampton, and he wrapped up Eric Williams like a blanket. So Williams would have, as I said, had no choice but to eat the ball. And it's 3rd down and 10 now. So Kecoughtan, most anxious to keep this drive alive, will be looking at a big 3rd down.
Yeah, and we're going to see the ball put up in the air. He's had pretty good luck so far this evening, and they haven't been able to sack him yet.
Short drop back, throws it out in the flats. It's tipped and it's caught on a super
good
effort.
concentration. That's Milan Brown. Did a good job of concentrating because the ball was hit by a Hampton Crabber.
Super concentration. There you see 42, Milan Brown winding it up. I'm not sure what that motion means.
He's been doing that all game. He must have a stiff shoulder or something. He's just trying to keep it loose because I've seen him do that more than once this evening. Either that or he's trying to excite the fans.
I think that might be it, because I saw several of his teammates doing the same thing. Nonetheless, a super effort as Antonio Hyman was over there to break up that pass, but falling down. In the act of falling down, Milan Brown was able to grab it and keeps the drive alive. Now Williams, with some running room, running along the line of scrimmage, throws the ball from in front of the line of scrimmage. A very poor thing for him to do, because he had a lot of running room and he was well over the line of scrimmage when he released the football.
Yeah, he was crossed the 40-yard line, and that's where the first down marker, where the yard marker was, and he was a good yard or two beyond that when he threw the pass. So this will be an illegal forward pass, which will not only be a penalty, but it will also be a loss of down, I believe, Tim. So that's very costly to the Warriors.
He was running laterally and had not crossed the line. He had a lot of running room in front of him. There were no Crabber defenders in front of him, but then he spotted an open man in the end zone and decided to let her rip. And unfortunately for the Kecoughtan Warriors, he was about 1 yard past the line of scrimmage. A good call by the officials, because he was obviously in the area where he was going to be called for an illegal forward pass. So it is but a 5-yard penalty, but it does carry the loss of down as well.
Penalty stepped off against the Kecoughtan Warriors.
So Kecoughtan now has second down,
Loss of down on the
and the penalty occurs from the point that he threw the football, which is kind of interesting.
Yeah, I thought it would go back to the original line of scrimmage. That's very unusual. So that means he could have been all the way back.
Yeah, it's very strange that they would mark it that way.
Yeah.
So it's second down and 14 for Kecoughtan. On the halfback draw, this is Johnson. Monty Johnson's got some running room. He's dragged down, but not before he picks up about 15 yards. He'll be shy of the first down, so actually give him 13.
That was an excellent call, Tim, because I know the Crabbers were looking for a pass.
stop on Monty Johnson.
Williams did a nice job of faking it. For all intents and purposes, it appeared he was going to throw the ball, and then he did niftily hand the ball off to Johnson. So now it brings up a 3rd and 2. So Kecoughtan is very much in this game, and they're looking at a 2-yard third down situation at the Hampton 32. Mix up in the backfield, the Crabbers are there, and Sherwood Jones wraps up the ball player. Sherwood Jones got a hold of Monty Johnson, and Johnson was not going anywhere. So Kecoughtan will have a 4th down, and boy, you talk about big 4th downs.
Yes, and looks like the Warriors are going to call a timeout, because they're not going to punt the ball. They pick up a first down, and we got Kirk Newsom, the first-year head coach at Warriors, going out to the field to talk to his team and try to come up with a play that'll work. Pick up about 4 or 5 yards anyway.
I'm going to try this one again.
Okay.
You know, as the old saying goes, a chain is only as strong as its weakest link. Parents, don't be the link that hinders the academic development of your child. Effective learning requires teamwork on the part of the teachers, parents, and student. Join your child's PTA and play a major part in shaping its goals and achievements. Your child will thank you someday as an accomplished adult with a budding future.
Hey, you did that real good,
I
Tim.
really did. That was one of my better PSAs. Well, we've had a real exciting ball game tonight. 28 seconds remain here in the third quarter. If you've just joined us, I'm Tim Cole, Bob Hintz along with me, and we're here at Darling Stadium. The Crabbers of Hampton, undefeated, 7-0, ranked 14th in the country by USA Today. Kecoughtan, not ranked by anyone in the country in the top 15, but they're playing like they want to win this ball game.
Oh, they most certainly are, Tim. But if you remember now, Kecoughtan has controlled the ball for the most part during the first half, and the Hampton has been controlling it for the most part during this third quarter. Kecoughtan's score came after a turnover where the Crabbers threw a pass and was intercepted, and they ended up getting their field goal from that point. So this would be nice for them if they could pick up this 4th down and keep their drive alive.
Johnson and Reed in the lineup behind Williams. 4th down and 4. Williams wants to pass, turns, looks, scrambles, got the first down. Now he's going to go for more. He's racing around the right corner, and he is unceremoniously shoved out of bounds. Over there making the stop was Anthony Billups, but not before Williams gets the first down.
Tim, I believe that was a design play. I do not believe that he went back to pass the ball. He dropped back, and that was a quarterback option where quarterback draw, where he was designed to run the ball, because he is a very good runner and a very fleet of foot. As you saw, he just outran 2 or 3 defenders.
So Williams keeps that drive alive. First down at the Hampton 19. 19 seconds remain in the the third quarter. Williams on the halfback draw. Reed met at the line of scrimmage and driven back. Again, Sherwood Jones in on the stop for the Crabbers. Over there as well was Andre Davis, number 32 for the Crabbers. And that will be the last play of the third quarter. So much to my surprise, Bob, we've played 3 quarters and it's still a tight ball game. The Crabbers knew they were going to be in for a tough game. To remind the fans, the last time Hampton lost was at the hands of the Kecoughtan Warriors.
They sure were, and that was last year at this time, and I know the Hampton does not want that to be repeated. Last night when we did the ball game, there were 63 points scored. There was 35-0 before the Bruins got on the board. Tonight we've had excellent football, but only 10 points have been scored. It's not so much as a defensive struggle, but both offensive units have been able to move the ball up and down the field, but not be able to get it in the end zone, but one time each.
There really haven't been that many scoring opportunities. They really haven't been close. It's been kind of a game played between the 30s and the 40s.
That's right.
And Kecoughtan has held their own against a apparent superior team in the Hampton Crabbers. The Crabbers have got all they want and then some. So this is going to be a real interesting fourth quarter. Hampton obviously driving to repeat as the state champions, but Kecoughtan may have a lot to say about that before this night is over.
Well, and also I was talking to Coach Deal and Coach Mike Talon from Phoebus. They're also at the game tonight, along with I saw the Warwick coach Lyons was here also. So there's a lot of people here scouting these 2 teams. But should the Crabbers lose, then that would put them in a tie for first place with Phoebus, and of course Phoebus would not like nothing better than to be at least co-champions of the Peninsula District. And their lone loss, of course, came by the hands of the Hampton Crabbers, 18-0, which was one of the very first games of the first or second game of the season.
12 minutes remain. Kecoughtan with a second down and 9 inside the 20 of Hampton. Eric Williams hands off, and that is Ruben Press, I believe. Let's check that number.
Number 21, Tim.
All right, that would be James Campbell, who is listed as an end, and that's without question the first time he's carried the ball tonight, and he gets a first down.
Well, that's a good average to have.
That was quite a surprise play. I mean, he found himself with nobody between him and the 10-yard line.
Sure did, Tim. Now, if you remember the first half, Kecoughtan was in the same situation. They had a first and goal at about the 5 or 6 yard line, and the Hampton defense got real tough and only allowed the 3 points.
Reed and Johnson fumble, and a flag is down. The Crabbers have got the football, but there is a flag down. Sherwood Jones comes up with a pigskin, but let's hold everything here and see who the penalty's against. It was thrown apparently in the backfield of the Hampton Crabbers. Holding the call against Kecoughtan, so the Crabbers will get the fumble recovery.
Well, they dodged the bullet that time because the Warriors were in very good position to score, and of course they don't want to get a field goal at this point. They want to get 7 points on the board, and of course Hampton now they're a long way from their own end zone, but at least they've stopped a threat here by the Warriors.
Kecoughtan had a first and goal at the 6, and Johnson couldn't get the handle on the handoff, and Sherwood Jones alertly grabbed it for the Crabbers.
Well, I'm very impressed with the way the Kecoughtan Warriors offense is playing tonight.
Hampton looking for some running room. Lane Murphy, number 43, carries the ball for the Crabbers.
Well, I don't look for the Hampton team to do anything risky at this point. They're going to use straight handoffs, Tim, and just try to power that ball across and get a couple of first downs so they can get a little breathing room. I don't look for them to put the ball in the air. Of course, I have said that before, and they proved me a liar, so let's see what happens.
Pickup of a couple. Second down and 8. Hunter hands to Stefanko. Stefanko picks up some yardage outside. He's got the first down out close to the 20.
He was hit, had a young man hanging on, Tim, and he just kept his feet moving and picked up 2 or 3 yards more after he was tackled. He's got tremendous leg and lower body strength.
So now the Crabbers have a little breathing room as they were in the shadow of their own goal line and have the ball now out close to the 20-yard line. And it's first down for the Crabbers. A little more than 10 minutes remain in the ball game. This is Stefanko, left side, and he is grabbed, appeared to be grabbed by the face mask as he went through there.
He was. The official evidently didn't see it because he was definitely grabbed by the face mask, and the defender did it, knew that he had done it and dropped back, but the official evidently didn't see it. He was screened out of the play.
We saw that Friday night in the Bethel-Phoebus game where the young man, I don't remember his number and I wouldn't want to embarrass him anyway, but he grabbed totally accidentally and without any flagrancy at all, grabbed the face mask, let go immediately like, oh my gosh, what did I do? But it was too late, the penalty was called. Stefanko again gets the call. And this one will be marked at the 28-yard line. It'll be third down and 2. So the Crabbers now looking at a big third down.
Well, they've got to get a first down at this point, Tim. There's no way that they're going to go fourth down and gamble at this point and give the ball back over. So they got to pick up the first down at this point to keep their drive alive and keep the ball out of the offensive unit of Kecoughtan.
Pitch out comes to Summers. Summers has got no one between him and the goal line. Oh, what a move, but he lost his footing when he spun away from the would-be tackler. But Summers has gone all the way down to the 12-yard line.
What an excellent run, and almost pulled it off because the young man, number 7, had a bead on him, had him cut off at about the 10-yard line. He stopped and did a spin and then lost his balance. But you talk about a third down, picking up a little bit of yardage. That puts the pressure on the Kecoughtan defense.
That one came from the 28 all the way down to the 11-yard line of Kecoughtan. So you talk about a game breaker. Todd Summers comes up with the big play. And now the Crabbers are looking to score. They're at the Kecoughtan 11, first and 10. This is Dwayne Murphy struggling to the 10-yard line. In there stopping him was number 50, Curtis Wilson of Kecoughtan.
Dwayne Murphy on the
So the Crabbers have used 3 running backs with great regularity this evening. Summers on that big carry a moment ago. Dwayne Murphy carried just the last play. And of course, Mike Stefanko has had good success tonight as well. So an arsenal of running backs being displayed by Mike Smith and the Hampton Crabbers this evening. Pickup of a yard on the last play. It'll be second down and 9 at the Kecoughtan 10. Inside handoff, we've got flags and whistles all over the place.
And they really blew the whistles were blown just before the snap of the play. Tim, we talk about the Hampton runners and the ability of Mike Stefanko and his cohorts out there, how good they do. And we don't want to be remiss to not talk about that offensive line because they're the ones that's opening up the holes, and they really go kind of unnoticed because they don't get the headlines. But the Hampton Crabbers offensive line from tackle to tackle just do an excellent job, and that's why you can run in different halfbacks and different fullbacks and still be successful because they're opening up holes.
So an illegal procedure call against the Crabbers backs them up, and they'll now have the ball at the 15. They need to get down to the 1. Hunter fakes, looks again, steps away from one man, throws in the end zone, wide open, touchdown.
The man was wide open in the end zone. There was no defender around him. Eric Hunter did an excellent job of sidestepping the defense that time, Tim, and it really showed some poise. And that's the maturity that Coach Smith really wants to see in his young quarterback, to be able to sidestep and still have presence of mind to find an open receiver in the end zone.
Hunter had all kinds of time, as you said, and he found Brian Gerzak, wide open in the corner of the end zone. Houston puts it up, and it's long enough, and it's good. So the Crabbers take the ball. I wrote this down because I was curious to see what might happen. They stopped Kecoughtan with that fumble, the fumble recovery by Sherwood Jones. They started from their 7, and they went with 10:59, almost 11 minutes left in the fourth quarter. They used up the clock to the point of 7:38. Of course, a 70-yard scamper by Summers being the big play in that drive, and it's capped by a 14-yard touchdown pass from Eric Hunter to Brian Gerzak. So the Crabbers, the opportunists that they usually are, turn the fumble recovery into a 93-yard touchdown.
That's excellent. You don't expect to be able to take it 93 yards and not make some mistakes and be able to hang on to the ball where the Hampton Crabbers did. That was an excellent job, but that's 2 scores tonight that has come off of turnovers.
Mike Houston will have it teed up. 7:38 remains in the ball game. The Crabbers have stretched that lead now, and they lead by 14-3. This is Reed at the 8-yard line. And Reed will get out to the 32, pickup of 24 on the return. And we've got a Crabber down.
Ruben Press making the stop for the Crabbers.
Tim, you're going to find when a young man gets hurt on a football field, more times than not, it's going to be when you have special teams on a kickoff, especially because that's when they're going full force and they're going out, and that's when I don't know which coach it was that said that this is not a contact sport. This is a collegiate sport, and we just hope that he just got the wind knocked out of him or something like that, and he'll be up and be able to go off to the end zone. It looks like number 41 is his
Michael
number.
Slade is the ball carrier, or the player rather, for Hampton, who is shaken up on that play. So hopefully it's nothing more than maybe having the wind knocked out of him. As you said before, they refer to that as the kamikaze squad, because
Absolutely.
You're going full speed. There you go. He's up on his feet. We're
That's
happy to
great.
see that.
I know a mom and a daddy just sighed a big sigh of relief.
So Slade is able to come off on his own. And the Kecoughtan Warriors now, after having driven all the way down inside the 10 of Hampton, only to have a fumble, and then the Crabbers turn it into a 93-yard drive for the touchdown. Kecoughtan will be hard-pressed to get that momentum back. And let's see how the Hampton defense does with Mr. Williams. Williams steps up in the pocket.
Here it is. That's that quarterback draw again.
He is elusive. He's good. He's got the first down out at the 45.
He is a very exciting player. You let him get the ball, and he just kind of drops back, and he takes a deep drop. He goes back 8 to 10 yards, and then he goes forward. So really, when he decides to start running the ball, Tim, he picked up, about 12 yards that time, so he really ran about 20 yards.
Williams was the 7th leading passer coming into this game, averaging a little more than 51 yards per game. But he has shown his versatility this evening and his quickness.
Well, I know the Crabbers know he's going to have to put the ball in the air, and so they're looking pass, and that quarterback draw really works good.
Williams still has it, looks for his man, it's tipped and goes incomplete. The intended receiver downfield for Kecoughtan, Ray Alvis, number 81, just couldn't get a handle on it, and it was tipped by one of the Crabbers, and it was almost caught by another Kecoughtan Warrior, Freddie Williams, number 15, who was downfield on the pattern as well. But it goes harmlessly incomplete. 6:45 remaining in the ball game. Kecoughtan trailing 14-3.
And they've got to score twice, Tim. They've got to get a field goal and a touchdown, and maybe go for the two-point conversion.
Williams straight back, steps up in the pocket and throws it downfield. This is a Hail Mary, and it goes incomplete, as Hampton had double coverage on the play. The intended receiver was Milan Brown.
Brings up 3rd down for the Warriors.
And it's a 3rd down and 10 for Kecoughtan.
Now this is putting a lot of pressure on the quarterback, because he's got to pick up the first down. And at this point of the game, I would assume that the Warriors would go for it on 4th, because at this point, you turn the ball over to Hampton, they get 2 or 3 first downs, they're just going to run the clock out. So being a coach, former coach, I would definitely say if they don't get the first down here, they'll go for it on 4th.
Allen lines up on the near side in the flanker position. Williams is pressed now, gets away from his would-be tacklers. has some time, looks downfield, and he's going to throw another long pass. This is going to be, again, too long. It's intercepted at the 15. So that another Hail Mary. Williams never should have thrown that pass. It wasn't even close to being caught by one of his players. Grady McLean, number 22, for the Crabbers, gets the interception.
Well, now that might not be too bad of a play if you can cause a turnover down at this end, and that's what you hope your defensive unit will do. Of course, it really kind of takes air out of the both the offense and defense. You have a letdown anytime you have a turnover, and that's usually why there is a score at the end of a turnover.
Ever looking into the back of the head.
Yes.
Williams, he's got his number tattooed on the back of his head, so in case he wakes up in the morning and doesn't know who he is, he can look on the chart.
Well, that was Coach Revis Conrad talking with Eric Williams there.
Now, Williams has had an exceptional ball game for Kecoughtan. He has absolutely no reason to feel poorly about his performance this evening, but unfortunately his team trails by 11.
And we're under 6 minutes to go now, Tim, and Hampton pick up a 2 or 3 first downs here. They're going to control, and it's going to be very hard for the Warriors to score.
Close to a first down. Dwayne Murphy carrying for the Crabbers. Aren't we happy the Kecoughtan band is at least not in front of us anyway?
That's for sure.
Tim,
it doesn't make any difference which one of those backs get the ball. After they're hit, they continue to keep their legs moving, and that's good coaching because those young men keep right on moving up, pick up an extra yard or two, which will make the difference in getting a first down or not.
It's 3rd down and 1 for the Crabbers. Big 3rd down for Kecoughtan. If they have any hopes, we're inside of 5 minutes. They need to stop the Crabbers right here, and they do. Dwayne Murphy is bottled up in the backfield. A good defensive effort, and once again, in on the stop was Ray Alvis, number 81, who has played a superb game on defense for Kecoughtan.
I hate to correct you, that's Ray Alves, and his daddy may send you a card in the mail.
Alves, excuse me.
No, that's okay. It looks like it's Alvis, but it is Alves.
Okay, well, we apologize for that. I will correct myself and call it Alves. Ray, nonetheless, has played a great game on defense tonight. He has probably made 6 or 7 unassisted tackles. Kecoughtan is coming. Houston gets it away.
Oh, beautiful kick.
And Reed fields it at the 28 with a fair catch call, which you have to wonder about.
Well, the reason he did the fair catch call is because they sent 10 men in to try to block the punt. He had nobody back there to block for him, but he could have run the ball, picked up a good, at least maybe 10 yards on that because there was no defender within 5 or 6 yards when he caught the ball.
Well, the safe play sometimes is the play you have to go with. Kecoughtan now at their 28, 72 yards away from a score, and 4 minutes and 12 seconds is all the time remaining. Williams drops straight back, pumps, fakes, throws, and Antonio Hyman makes the interception. Second interception in a row for the Crabbers. Hyman is tripped up, but not before he gets all the way to the 34. We've got a flag down. A couple of players with a little extracurricular activity. None seems to be any for the worse as a result. And it is a flag down, but I believe we'll see the interception will stand for the Crabbers.
Yeah, the interception will stand. The flag came after the tackle was completed or during the run back anyway, and it looks like it's going to be against the Warriors because you notice a couple of the Hampton Crabbers are clapping.
There you see Ray Alves as he came up. I've got to see if every time I've mispronounced his name, I've got to pronounce it correctly. I'm going to be here all night because I really have mispronounced it, and I apologize to Ray Alves for that. Holding call against Kecoughtan. So not only will the Crabbers have the ball on the interception, they'll also have a penalty tacked on as a result of that penalty.
It looked like a holding call is what the official signaled up here. That's Kenny Self, who was the referee, that is the head official out there, and is doing all the communicating with the hand and arm signals. And it looks like it's going to be from the point of the foul, or I don't know, Tim, because going from where the ball was ended up, and it looks like a 10-yarder.
They're going to mark it at the 23 of Kecoughtan.
15-yard penalty, stepped off against the Warriors for holding, moves the ball down.
Well, that really will kind of almost close the door on the Warriors unless they can come up with an interception or a fumble recovery and run it in and get a quick score, because it's going to be tough now when the Crabbers are down there knocking on the door, and they got a tremendous field goal kicker, Mike Houston.
And they are inside of 4 minutes. Pitch back comes to Stefanko. He looks for a hole, gets a couple of tough yards. That's one of the things that I like the way he plays. He doesn't just put his head down and barrel over somebody. He's all the time looking downfield to see where the hole might be, where he might pick up a blocker.
Tim, if you were 5'7" and weighing 145 and you saw those big people coming at you, you would look for an opening too, wouldn't
I
you?
would run the opposite direction. Don't tell me about looking for an opening. I'm looking for an opening on the sidelines somewhere. I'm no fool. So Stefanko picks his way for 5 yards. And the Crabbers continue to move the ball. The clock continues to move with 3:15. This is the halfback draw to Dwayne Murphy. Check that, Summers carries the ball.
Yeah, it was Summers, and I hear the stadium announcer has got mixed up like we did, and he thought it was Stefanko.
Summers is 42, Murphy's 43, Stefanko is 44, and their jersey getting rumbled up. It's hard to make them out.
Well,
Not only that,
Stefanko just came into the game.
well, Dwayne Murphy's no big football player. He's only 5'9", so they're all pretty much similar in their stature.
Especially from this distance.
2:35, clock moving, 14-3 Hampton. Halfback draw, Stefanko is wrapped up, and he was wrapped up with the assist of the face mask.
Yes, it definitely was a face mask, and that's exactly what Kenny Self is giving us the call up here right now. And that'll give the Hampton Crabbers a first down, keep their drive alive. They get in the end zone. Well, even a field goal this time would just slammed the door shut on the Warriors, who, by the way, have played an excellent game. I think we got to tip our hat off to the coaching staff and the Kecoughtan Warriors squad. They have played an excellent game. They have just not been able to get the ball in the end zone. They've played tremendous between the 30s.
Hampton has come up with the big play when they had to have it. They've stopped Kecoughtan 2 times when Kecoughtan was first down inside the 10. And take those and reverse those into scores, you've got a whole different ballgame.
Absolutely.
So the Crabbers will have the ball now, first and goal at the 8-yard line. Hunter on a broken play, rolling, looking, and is grabbed momentarily. He'll race for the sidelines. He gets there, and he's thrown out of bounds, and we'll see a roughness flag, I'm sure.
Oh, yeah, there was no call for that. He was out of bounds, and then they shoved him into the fence over there, and that's why we saw the flags, Tim. And I'm sure the Kecoughtan Warriors are frustrated. They played a good game, and they're getting beat, and they can see right now that it's almost hopeless, and that will cause a player to do something that he shouldn't do normally.
There's also a flag on the near side of the field also, which
I didn't see that.
Unrelated. I just picked it up myself back at the line of scrimmage on the near side of the field. So there may be, in fact, 2 penalties involved here.
Personal foul is against the both calls are against Kecoughtan. One's a personal foul and one's both of them look like 15-yarders, which will be half the distance
Might
to the
have
goal
an
line.
ejection here too. I'm not certain, but the official is escorting one of the Kecoughtan Warriors over to the sideline. He may have been ejected from the ball game.
Well, if he was escorted to the sideline, Tim, he was ejected. That's it. We only got 2:15 to go in the game.
And you know, Kecoughtan, as you said, and let's not belabor this point, but Kecoughtan has played a real fine ball game, and I would hate to see the game digress as a result of their frustrations. And that last play was total unnecessary roughness when Hunter was easily out of bounds and he was helped a little further. So hopefully we will not digress any further. The Crabbers with the lead, and it's first down at the 6.
And that was a mix-up in the backfield at that time. It was a broken play. So the Kecoughtan Warriors had a chance to do something, and of course ended up getting a penalty, but they would have thrown him for a loss, thrown Eric Hunter for a loss anyway, even though he was out of bounds.
And now they've marked a half the distance to the goal line penalty in addition, since the other was a dead ball foul after the play.
There you
so
go.
In fact, there's 2 penalties on the same play.
Yeah, one was at the beginning of the play, and then one was after the play was whistled dead. Good point, Tim. I'm
So
glad you're on top of this.
I can barely see. These old eyes are failing me here. At the 3, Stefanko in for the score, and he will preserve his scoring leadership in the district.
Well, you and I had talked about that last night, that David Brown had such an excellent game against Bethel. He scored 3 times and moved into a tie with Stefanko, and of course that score would put Stefanko back in the lead, but only by 6 points.
Now we've got a flag down, so we might be a little premature in Mr. Stefanko's score here. It looks like the Crabbers might be backed up. Let's see. I won't hazard a guess. It's a personal foul against the Crabbers after the play. So I believe we're going to see the
touchdown will stand, and a penalty will come on the kickoff.
So Stefanko does in fact get credit for the 6 points, and the Crabbers will now take a 20-3 lead. This game has a 17-point margin at this point, but it's by no means been that far apart as far as the actual game is concerned.
No way. Hampton came up with the big plays when they had to.
Mike Houston adds his 3rd. No, check that. I was, again, a little premature.
Well,
Houston shanked it to the left.
Tim, it looked like his plant foot slipped a little bit as he was getting ready to kick the ball, and you got to have that plant foot's got to be solid when you kick, and if it slips a little bit, he's going to pull the ball, which he ended up doing.
I was a little premature. It's almost automatic with
Yeah.
Houston. I just assumed it was going to be good. It was long enough.
Well, we know that's the first one he's missed this year, I believe.
I would be surprised if it wasn't. Coming into the game, he had converted on his kicking game. He had converted on, let me see here, 12 touchdowns. So it's very likely that was his first miss. So it's still 20-3, just 2:12 remains in the ball game.
And here you see the penalty being kicked off, being stepped off against the Crabbers, so they'll have to kick from the 25 rather than the 40-yard line.
So the Crabbers, who led by just 4 points at halftime, have added 2 touchdowns here in the 4th quarter. A 14-yard pass to Brian Gerzak and a 3-yard run by Mike Stefanko. And the Crabbers have a 17-point lead with just 2 minutes and 12 seconds remaining. And now the Crabbers have called a timeout. Apparently there was some confusion about the number of players on the field for the Crabbers. Mike Smith is walking out on the field.
There's 11 players out there, so I don't know what the confusion was, but of course, both coaches, head coaches, are out there. Mike Smith is out talking to his group, and Kirk Newsom is going out talking to his group. And Tim, as we're running this thing down with 2:12 to go, again, I'd like to say thanks to Larry Malloy and his staff here at the stadium for doing an excellent job on this field. He told me tonight that he has put down 200 pounds of grass seed. He's going to have to put a little water on it because there's no rain forecasted anytime soon, but there's 2 more weekends left in the schedule here. And of course, both teams, we should have 2 teams from the district going to playoffs. Hampton Crabbers definitely should be going, and the Phoebus Phantoms should be going.
The field has been kept in excellent condition all year long. They've really done a fine job, and as we have alluded to in the past, a great number of games are played here with the 4 Hampton City schools playing their games here. I don't know, but it's possible too that the JV teams play here, don't they?
No, they play at their home fields, Tim. Yeah, they play Saturday mornings at their home schools. All
right, we're set to go after the 15-yard penalty assessed to the Crabbers. Houston gets this, drives it all the way down to the 24. This is Reed again returning. He's up at 45, close to the 50. And the Kecoughtan Warriors will have good field position, but trailing by 17 points, and they have just a little more than 2 minutes to go.
And we know we're going to see the ball in the air, Tim. There's no doubt in my mind. But Hampton has intercepted twice. I'm sorry, intercepted once, and a fumble recovery, which has led to 2 of their scores. So they got 13 points via the turnover.
Clock is running down inside of 1:50. Kecoughtan has played a superb ball game tonight. They are just simply going to come up on the short end of the score. Williams looks, fakes, now he's getting pressure, gets away from one tackler, throws it across the middle. It is completed to Ray Alves. Got the name right again.
Yes, you
this
did.
young man plays both ways again. He's a fine defensive player, and he is also out on the pattern now. He picks up a first down for Kecoughtan.
12 yards on the play.
12-yard gain for Alves.
First down.
Clock stopped as they reset the chains. Now it starts again, 1:25.
Eric Williams is real exciting at that quarterback slot because you don't know if he's going to run, and he eludes the defenders real easy back there. Seems like it's just kind of a natural, an instinct type of thing, but he's got very quick feet, which allows him to maneuver and avoid a direct hit or being sacked. And I don't think he's been sacked all night tonight, Tim.
That time he threw for Alves again, but this one was thrown behind the intended receiver, went out of bounds, incomplete, stopping the clock with 1:19. Third, check that, second down and 10 for Kecoughtan. They are at the Hampton 38-yard line. Williams again steps up in the pocket, feels the pressure, and rolls to his right. Dipsy doodling along the sideline and finally driven out of bounds at about the 32. He'll come up shy of the first down, but the clock will stop with 1 minute and 11 seconds.
He's exciting to watch, isn't he?
He sure is. We've seen some good quarterbacks tonight, and we've seen some good quarterbacks this weekend.
Oh, we most certainly have. The Bethel quarterback,
Ken Johnson.
and Phoebus quarterback, Holloman, both put on a good show last night. So, again, I keep talking about the hotbed of football here on the peninsula, and it seems to have migrated to the Hampton end. But we get to see excellent football.
Helps if your name is Eric. You get to be quarterback if you're Eric.
Right.
3 of the 4 quarterbacks, first name is Eric. How's that?
There you go. That's a trivia question.
Williams looks, pumps, fakes, throws, and he's got a man. He just can't hold on to it. Fine effort on the part of Barry Allen, but he just couldn't. There you see Allen getting up. He just couldn't quite get the football in his hands.
Barry Allen falls incomplete.
And we got a 4th down now, so if he doesn't complete this one, Tim, the ball will go back over to the Crabbers, which is, they're virtually assured to win at this point with 1:06 to go anyway. And of course, they want to preserve their defensive, I don't know what word I want to use, but strength of not allowing very many points, especially not a touchdown scored against them.
They've only allowed 2 touchdowns all year. And there will not be a first down for Kecoughtan here, so the clock will stop with 1 minute and 1 second, and the ball will go over to the Crabbers. So it's academic at this point. But looking down the score history for Hampton, they gave up a touchdown to George Washington. They gave up a touchdown to Ferguson. And those are the only 2 times all year that the Hampton defense has given up a touchdown.
Well, that touchdown to Ferguson came in the late in the 4th quarter. So there's a lot of pride on that defensive unit for the Crabbers, and they do not want to give up any points, let alone a touchdown.
Well, they'll end up right on their averages. They were averaging 21 points a game coming in. They've got 20. They've given up 3. They were averaging 2.3 coming in. So Hampton has maintained what they've done consistently all year. We've got a flag down as Dwayne Murphy got the call. And a flag went down at the line of scrimmage. 39 seconds remain. There you see, momentarily there you saw Eric Williams, who has played a real fine ball game tonight. We got a holding call against the Crabbers. So the Crabbers now will improve their record to 8-0. Kecoughtan will fall to 4-3.
I'm trying to remember who Hampton plays next week. Week after next, I know they play the traditional rival when they go against the Bethel Bruins.
Well,
but I, for the life of me, can't remember who they play next week. It's got to be one of the Newport News schools.
I would think it's Warwick because they haven't played Warwick.
Well, that's why Warwick's coach and staff was here tonight. That answers that question. And Warwick is in a rebuilding year, so next week they will play one of the Newport News schools at Warwick, and the following week you and I will be back here Saturday afternoon with the traditional Bethel and Hampton bloodbath shootout or whatever.
Stefanko wrapped up for what is probably going to be the last play of the ball game. We're inside of 10 seconds. The clock is moving. I don't think Kecoughtan wants to stop, and I know Hampton doesn't want to. And that will, in fact, be the final play of the game. So, kind of an unusual game in the sense that Hampton didn't blow anybody away tonight. Kecoughtan played tough and played a good football game.
Well, Tim, both teams have nothing to be ashamed of, especially the Warriors. They came out and they played an excellent game. They stuck to their game plan. They did what the coaches wanted to do. They just couldn't get the ball in the end zone. But the Hampton Crabbers, they're an opportunistic team. They will take advantages of anything you give them, any turnovers. In the screen, we had evidently run out of tape. But just to summarize it up real quick, Hampton takes advantage of anything you give them, but they're a very basic team. They don't do a lot of fancy things or any tricky things. They just come at you. You know what they're going to run. They're going to run up the middle. They're going to run off tackle, occasionally going to throw the ball. You got to come out and stop them. And Kecoughtan did a good job with that the first half, but Hampton is just a very superior team, and they have proved it all year long that they just continue to go right on and do what they have to do to win a game. And of course, Danny Mitchell's going to be very happy when he goes to that party for young Danny's 2-year-old party
and you're all invited to Danny Mitchell's house for the party last Saturday night.
That's right. I want everybody to make sure you go down and wish Danny, young Danny, a happy birthday. But Tim, I've enjoyed this tonight. It's been an excellent game, and we've had a real super weekend.
Well, you know, just to expand a little further on what you're saying, to actually accentuate that, I was talking with, as I mentioned, Coach Kozlowski of Bethel at halftime, and he mentioned to me he was here. I asked him why he was out watching the game tonight, and of course, in the same breath, I said, I assume you're here scouting Hampton. He says, oh yeah, that's why I'm here. He said, but you know, he says, I really don't need to be here. He says, because they do the same thing. I've seen it over and over again. They really don't vary that much from what is successful for them. And why would you? You know, it goes back to my favorite saying, if it ain't broke, don't fix it.
That's right. And Hampton just does a good job. You know what they're going to run, but the key is that their execution is great, and that's when Mike Smith will take off his hat to his assistant coaches because they do a good job with these guys. And as I talked earlier in the broadcast about preparing for a team, Danny Mitchell goes through the films. He charts all the plays, the tendencies to the right side, the left side, the passing formations, the running formations, what to look for in different areas on the field. And they put on 42 hours of extra time to go on through that. But that's just, I've talked about that earlier, but a lot of people don't realize how much extra time that the coaching staff puts on.
Well, we're going to put on the skirts here. We're going to get out of here. The final score, Hampton 20, Kecoughtan 3. There you saw the names of the folks that have been out here for 2 nights in a row in this very chilly weather, good football weather, but they have done a super job bringing this game to you. We thank them for all of their efforts, and we remind you that if you're watching this game during the week, if you missed the Bethel Phoebus game, it's airing Monday and Wednesday at 9 p.m., Thursday at 9 a.m. This game Tuesday and Thursday at 9 p.m. and again 9 a.m. on Friday. So for Bob Hintz, this is Tim Cole and the entire crew. Thank you for watching. Hope you'll join us next time for Group AAA High School Football. Good evening, everybody.
Okay, this is a wrap.